All right. So you'd have no way to know this, but every year we write that this is going to be the year for the tight ends to step up into the passing game.
I like that.
It's kind of gotten to be like Charlie Brown in the football because it hasn't happened quite yet. What gives you the most confidence that that group's ready to step up in the passing game?
They're willing learners, and just the stuff that I'm trying to implement from a passing game technical standpoint. These guys are absorbing that knowledge, and they're trying to apply it every day we're on the practice field, and you're seeing us take the right strides forward.
How, obviously it wasn't planned, but they got a lot more reps in the spring than was intended. Obviously you had some injuries with your other group, right?
For sure.
How much did they take advantage of that?
I think all of them definitely took advantage of it. I think it's just a blessing in disguise. Sometimes it works out like that. Sometimes a guy goes down and other guys get more reps, but are you taking advantage of those reps the right way? And when you look back on it, it's more tape for us to coach off. And so I think everybody definitely did take advantage of it.
And so just going through a couple guys, just talk about where Walker's at as camp starts, where Lake's at, and then just the younger guys, Joey Olsen, Walter,
it's an incredible room. I mean, you got a variety of talent and different skill sets, so super excited to get out there. You just mentioned a few guys, Lake and Walker. Both of them had great springs, great summers. Their bodies definitely changed in a positive direction. So I'm just super excited for these guys to get out there and to get going.
Well, so talking about variety, you have Joey Olsen, again, in receivers, and you've got big like Walter. So what exactly do you see? Play on the goal line. There were no touchdowns last year by tight ends, which was pretty surprising. What do you see with that group as far as getting a bigger role when you have so many big names and big guys, especially size-wise, on the wide receiver role?
Well, I think it's this fall camp. It's going to be a good opportunity. Who can emerge to be our every down player, right? Can a guy be an every down player where we can use him in the goal line, we can use him in open field, and if somebody can't emerge to do that, okay, maybe we got to be more specific with somebody's role. But you got a variety of talents. Everybody's capable of what we're trying to do in this offense. So it's just who can emerge to be that every down player for us.
So just moving to your inside group, what makes an elite inside receiver? Where do they separate themselves? Obviously thinking about Makai, but just in general, how do you separate yourself from that position on the field?
I mean, it's cliche, but I think playmaking ability, when the ball comes your way, are you able to do what we're asking for? Is it either to move the chains, to have an explosive pass, to make somebody miss in the open field? But you got to have a really good feel for space to be an inside receiver here. You got to be detail oriented, and I mean, you got to be able to make the play when the ball comes your way.
And who are just some of the guys you're looking at? Obviously, Makai's going to play a role. You've got veteran guys, you got young guys. How are you starting camp, especially now that they're healthy and you have a chance to get them out on the field?
Yeah, and the guys know this, and I told them this last week. It's when fall camps start, it's a clean slate. And fall camp's going to be a little different than spring ball because now we're getting ready to play season, right? And so some guys might get more reps than others. Right now, the depth chart hasn't been formed, right? We don't play a game until August 30th, so who's going to step up? Who's going to rise to the occasion? Who's going to separate themselves from the pack? But it's my job to get everybody ready and to make sure they perform at a high level every single day.
And then just kind of shifting gears, I know you're a big believer in just putting in the effort when it comes to recruiting.
Yep.
But Coach Riley talked last week about how Chad Bowden's staff has helped him focus on football more than he has been able to in a long time. How impactful has the front office been on what your offseason was able to be?
They've been great, incredible, just diligent with their evaluations, diligent with their communication plan. I work hand in hand with Max Stineker, and so he helps with the tight ends, inside receivers, evaluations, communication plan. So him and I are always talking. Obviously, Chad's a part of those conversations as well, but just the way they handle themselves, they're detail-oriented. I'm big on communication. They are great with communication, and so you really which direction we want to go. And I feel like when there's a direction, it makes things a lot easier. But just super excited to just show up every single day and work with those guys.
You talked about playmaking. How long did it take for you and Max to kind of get dialed in terms of when he shows you a guy, it's going to be your type of guy?
Yeah, I mean, we're always going to look not just at the surface level highlights, right? We're going to look at the good plays, the bad plays, what kind of player are when they don't have the ball in their hands, special teams clips, do they have return ability? If it's a tight end, I mean, are they a core special teams guy? So we're going to look at all that stuff, but if a good football player, he's a good football player, right? And so we can look at each other and say, hey, thumbs up, thumbs down, let's put this guy higher up on the list, maybe this guy's not, but we definitely see eye to eye and all that stuff. And maybe he sees something that I don't, maybe he can kind of check me or stand on the table. And I've always learned that in the recruiting process, if you see something that you believe in, you got to stand on the table for it. And you can't just get caught up with this school's offered this guy or this recruiting database has this guy ranked a certain rating. But if you see something in that evaluation, you got to stand on the table for that.
So we usually only get the huddle, and so we're actually always curious about the bad film or the bad reps. How big is it for you guys to watch a guy bounce back inside of a game or inside of a season? And can you give an example just of a current guy or a guy you've maybe former coached who impressed you in that way?
I think I look at all videos, whether it's a guy coached the last few years at Colorado State, Torrey Horton, not just looking at his football stuff, but we watched his baseball. You could see him track down a ball in the outfield. You could see his hand-eye coordination, swinging the bat, and that just shows you what kind of athlete he is. But it could be you're watching the huddle and you filter all the plays in the game, and maybe the defense is trying to take away this guy in the game. What's his body language like when he's not getting the ball, right? Or does he have an opportunity to get an effort block downfield? All that stuff kind of adds up and goes into the evaluation.
And so, how is your time balanced now between evaluating college guys versus the high school guys? Coach Riley has said he wants this to be a program built on the high school recruits. How does that give and take work with you kind of on a daily basis?
Right now, I'm solely focused on high school guys. We're keeping our 26 guys warm, and obviously those guys are our priority, but now we have the opportunity to keep evaluating 27s, 28s, and other classes.
Circling back to individual guys, Walker Lyons saw his role pick up, as the season went on the rest of last year. What are you seeing in his game that he's being this unique to?
I think he's a willing blocker, right? He's got a unique pass catching ability. He changed his body, put on a few pounds this offseason, and so I think he's very sharp mentally, and so he's going in the right direction, and it's excited for him to get out there on Wednesday. Him and I were just talking in the hallway. He had a good few days off back home, and now he's just itching to get back out on the field.
And then Joy Olsen, also another guy, is a unique receiving, great receiver. Yeah. What is it about his? He's not just a great receiver. What in his game, if he wants to start getting some reps, start competing with those reps on the field, what is his next step? He has to take?
I think he knows that. I mean, after the spring, we did okay. These are the areas of improvement. This is what you did well. So he knows what I want to see out of him, and he's definitely going in the right direction. I think if he just continues to take the right strides daily, he'll be in a good spot.
Is there a particular size you guys are looking for as far as that blocking aspect of the game that it's going to be important for you, especially for the in-line guys?
Yeah. Yes and no. I mean, we have parameters we look for, but you're not always going to find that specific parameter because you might find a body that meets those measurements, right? But they might not have any bite to their bark. Or you might have a guy that's got smaller arms and maybe he's a few inches shorter, but he's the most physical guy out there, right? And he's more fluid. So you're not going to always find the perfect prospect. So it's our job as coaches to evaluate everything when it comes to position.
Speaking of the smaller guys that block, of the receiver group,
Yep.
Who's your best blocker on the receiver group? Come on, Coach.
When I first took this job last January, I told the guys that we got to take a next step when it comes to perimeter blocking. And all blocking is attitude and effort, right? And so I was trying to clean up some of the technique, get them a sounding understanding of where the ball's going, because now it's going to help us execute our blocks. And so all those guys are doing their best to clean up that technique. But I mean, one guy that was very willing in the spring was Josiah Zamora.
I know they don't call holding in in the Big Ten. I see that's a drive killer, right? That technique. Who amongst the guys that you said Zamora? Any other guys are showing?
Yeah, I mean, all those guys. Obviously, the spring I didn't have a fair evaluation on all guys because some guys weren't here, some guys weren't participating in all practices. But right now we're healthy, so we're going to get rolling on Wednesday.
And again, one of the questions I always get is about Walter Matthews and his development. What do you see exactly from him as far as the role this year in the academy?
Just a very unique body. I mean, not many guys have his size and his movement skills, right? And so he's got unique skill sets, but now it's just my job as a coach to keep fine tuning those so he can go to play on Saturday.
Yeah, you got it.
Curious, how do you see them grow, evolve, in this role?
That's a good question. I think as you get older, every year you grow. So, obviously, with the way recruiting has changed, the realignment of the conferences from when we first got here, all of that's changed. He's one of those people that, he never really gets rattled.